going to give him my...
Sorry, why don't you do that your chair? Sorry. I thought I was being helpful.
My son's gonna have my car in Iowa. And it's gonna hurt your car to get to work.
Figure that out for you.
Okay. About the vision. Okay, because I was thinking there is a time like 9, but no, it's your choice. Oh, sorry.
Okay, good morning. Oh, I forgot my notes. Good morning, and welcome to the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. To my left is Commissioner Deb Shore and Commissioner Todd Wilchin. And to my right is Vice Chair and Commissioner Larry Hudkins and Commissioner Bill Avery. My name is Roma Amundson, and I am Commissioner, Vice Chair, I guess the Chair. Yeah, Vice Chair, whatever. Anyway, Chair,
All the same.
and if so, you, welcome to the meeting. And will you join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so very much. And Mr. Clerk, will you begin the agenda, please?
Copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk staff. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the board meeting. Are there any corrections or additions? Please call the roll.
Avery?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Wilchin?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through April 14th, 2015.
Move approval?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve all claims. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Wilchin?
Yes.
Avery?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 3, public hearings. Class 1 liquor license for Engine House Cafe on the Lake, LLC, doing business as Boathouse Bar and Grill, 10,005 West Avery Road, Raymond, Nebraska.
Okay, we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would speak in favor of this particular liquor license? Okay, please.
He was here.
Please come forward.
Yep.
Do you solemnly swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name, please.
Oh, Roger Pletcher.
Mhm.
Well, I just came back this week because y'all were so accommodating last week. and everything looks like a go. I've got the health inspection came last week from the Department of Agriculture. Today I meet with the fire marshal. Mm-hmm. So then everything should be fully taken care of. I think that's the last hurdle. So I think we're looking like a go.
Okay, well, you've been very busy.
I have.
Very good. Thank you. Yes.
Still planning on serving breakfast
Absolutely.
on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes.
That might help sway the application.
I'll serve you breakfast anytime you want, Larry.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anyone speaking in opposition to the liquor license? And anyone speaking in a neutral position? Okay, we'll close this hearing then. And would you go on to the correlating item in 4A?
This is under new business, a resolution in a matter of an application for a Class 1 liquor license for Engine House Cafe on the lake, doing business as Boathouse Bar and Grill, and a corporate manager liquor license application for Roger Pletcher in connection with a Class 1 liquor license for Boathouse Bar and Grill located at 10,005 West Davie Road, Raymond, Nebraska.
I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this application for a Class 1 liquor license. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is 3B. This is a public hearing to request from Lancaster County Public Rural Transit for financial assistance from the Federal Transit Administration pursuant to the Federal Transit Act.
We will open this particular public hearing. And do we have someone speaking, obviously, in favor of it? Yes.
Could I swear you in here? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Hi, I'm Deb Peck with Aging Partners, and I'm here to get your approval today to submit a grant to continue the rural transit program. It's a continuation grant operating the same as the program currently is. The commitment from Lancaster County is $18,965.
Yes, Larry?
You've had a couple of promotions recently. I think one was a 25-cent day to get some people to ride, and we really appreciate the service that you're providing here, so that people can stay in their own homes as long as possible and make those doctor appointments and get the supplies that they need. But anything else that you have features coming up in the future that we might be mindful? You've got a television audience. Take advantage of them if you want to.
Well, I'm filling in for a short period of time. We're hoping to hire a new manager for the rural transit program within the next week. And I think that the statewide coalition is getting more and more involved. And I think that we'll find that next year there'll be a lot more things happening during Public Transportation Week, which was just last week. So, yeah, but we're always trying to get the word out. And I think one of the things that we really haven't tapped enough was, I noticed that like the Lincoln Public Libraries were encouraging students to come in and volunteer. Well, that would be great if we could reach the students and give them a ride into Lincoln and home for $4, and that would lessen the load on the family members too. So I think we need to do more of that in the future.
Good.
Okay, very good. Yes.
Engineer Dingman and I, about 2 weeks ago, took a road trip down to Hickman and spent, about almost 2 hours driving around on county roads in that kind of the southeastern quadrant of Lancaster County. And there was several mentions of how the residents utilize your transportation services and how greatly it was appreciated by members of the community. So it was just an unstructured, very positive comment. I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Glad to hear that.
Anyone else? Okay, is there anyone who would speak in opposition to this? Anyone in a neutral position? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the hearing. And would you, Mr. Clerk, would you go on to 4B and 4C?
Under new business, a resolution instructing Lancaster County Public Transit to apply for federal funds available under Section 5311 of the Federal Transit Act, and to use said funds to provide public transportation in Lancaster County and the bordering communities of Adams, Cortland, Ceresco, and Greenwood.
I'd move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we authorize this resolution. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just wanted to remind everybody that I will be abstaining from this vote because of the federal dollars involved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Larry?
And I'd just like to compliment the Transit Authority for including those communities. Ceresco is on the border, and Adams and Greenwood is like a mile and a half over. So it's those communities, and they typically come to Lincoln for their medical appointments and whatnot. So thanks for including them.
Any further discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Wilchin,
Abstain?
Avery,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. 4C is an application for public transportation operating assistance for Lancaster County Public Rural Transit.
Move approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this application. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Wilchin,
Abstain.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. D is a request from Lancaster County Corrections to use $18,000 from the Inmate Benefit Fund for the Good News Jail and Prison Ministries of Fairfax, Virginia, to provide counseling and religious activities for Lancaster County inmates.
Good morning, Mike Thurber, Corrections Director. Today we have Sheldon Crapo, our chaplain with Good News Jail and Prison Ministries, 2 new commissioners. I wanted to have opportunity to meet Sheldon, but in 1995, Good News approached us they were at Douglas County Corrections, that they'd like to place a chaplain inside our facilities here in Lincoln. And so what we've done traditionally with the board's approval is use some of the inmate benefit fund that we budget for to allow Sheldon to be placed in the jail and to run Bible study programs, church services, and be a connection into the churches in the Lincoln, Lancaster County. So what, 20 years, I thought it was 15. The time flies, it just keeps going. Sheldon started us in 95 and took a little sabbatical and was pastoring another church and came back. So we're real pleased to have him and his legion of volunteers. You might want to tell a little bit about that, Sheldon, but I think that's some of the things that I wanted you to know, that they're here. He's here every day, and we'd appreciate your consideration of letting us use that inmate benefit program. So, Sheldon.
We knew that when we moved into the new jail facility that the need and the opportunity for programming would increase dramatically. And indeed, during the first full year in our new facility, which we just completed in 2014, the number of religious services and studies that we offered increased by 28% over the previous year, and inmate attendance at those meetings shot up an average of 36%. But the only reason that we were able to meet that increased need was because the Lincoln community responded to the opportunity. We now have around 50 active religious volunteers, most of them coming in on a weekly basis. The jail chaplaincy and the services that it provides cannot happen without such excellent community support, and that is excellent support from our local churches and religious organizations. But of course, the financial support is also necessary. And so what happens here today indicates that our community also desires to provide the means of financial support. And it becomes a very great encouragement, and it's very greatly appreciated. And we will thank you for that opportunity, the opportunity you're providing here to support us in this way.
Any questions? Yes.
I have a question for Mr. Thurber.
Yes, ma'am.
I've never heard of this inmate benefit fund, but I'm curious as to whether or not inmates have any input into how the funds are used.
Input only to the ideal of taking on programs, working in those areas, but no, they do not tell us where to spend those monies. But what we're using it for, Commissioner, is the law library, giving them access to using that. All their recreational equipment's purchased from that. Things like the Volunteers Good News. We have Christian Heritage. We have Released and Restored programs, Southeast Community College. So those are what we pay for them out of that program. We budget that each year. You'll see that in the budget requests for this year. As well as work release, they don't really take any work release cost out of that, but anytime we have any type of program where we buy clothing for special job projects or even in some of the community release programs, we would take that money from the Inmate Benefit Fund.
Do you use any of this money for a program called Alternatives to Violence?
Alternatives to Violence? The parenting program we run, there's the Released and Restored, which is giving them life skills. but we do not have the title of Alternatives to Violence. We'd certainly look at if there's a group that would like to come and present.
is.
That'd be good. We'd
Yeah.
like to see them work their way through that. I know we have a literacy council, literacy group that comes in. We've even had
St.
the
Monica's.
tax with St. Monica's with the female offenders. We even had a tax group in, making sure some of them get their taxes in by in this time, if they've actually filed. So, but no, we're glad to talk to that group.
Two additional comments. We had looked at one time through some of our Keno funds about bringing the group you're referring to or a similar group in, Bill, but there were some concerns about if the inmate then to attend the domestic violence class, there were some concerns from the public defender that they had to actually admit that they had committed that, and a lot of our inmates are pre-sentenced. And so there were some issues there. And then the other item is a couple years ago at the state level, there was some concerns that the inmate benefit dollars were being transferred to the general fund. And we do not and have never utilized inmate benefit funds in our general fund. They are used specifically for inmate programming.
You're right. I believe that was some of the other programs that were talked about. I know had some defense attorney concerns because almost 50% of the inmates are pre-trial, so they have not been convicted or pled for their charge. So there could be issues with that as well in some of the programs. We do both sentenced and pre-trial programs of this as well.
Any further discussion?
I saw Sheldon in action. He came to Westminster, where Gwen and I worshiped and presented a program, was actively recruiting volunteers. So he's a really great representative of the Lancaster County Adult Detention Facility.
It was a good opportunity.
And I really personally want to thank you, too, for the work that you do with our inmates, because I believe that that is something that, helps them further along on the road to integration. Because we have these folks just for less than a year, and so your efforts are very important.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We like to say that the best sort of change is that change which comes from the inside out, and that's what our volunteers specialize in.
Okay, thank you. With no further discussion then?
I would
please-
move.
Yes, move.
I would say I would move for approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this request to use $18,000. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins.
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 4E is a special designated license applications from Wonderosa Winery, 2361 Woodstruck Road, Roca, for events on June 11th through the 14th, June 27th, July 9th through the 12th, August 28th and 29th, and September 11th and 12th, 2015.
Okay, do we have any representatives from Punta Rosa? Okay. They've had these events before. Okay, so.
I will move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve these special designated license applications. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. F is a resolution in a matter of setting salaries of the election commissioner and chief deputy election commissioner for the term of office starting September 7th, 2015.
I would move approval. Oh.
Okay. Doug?
Commissioners, you had asked the Human Resources Department to look at the salaries for the election commissioner, and we've done that. We found 3 counties that had comparable matches. We use the same process that we use through others of looking at those respondents, calculating the mean of those respondents, and looking at the median, and then calculating the difference between the mean and the median. That gives us a midpoint. So we recommend the salary of $83,482. That's what's in the resolution for the election commissioner. Any questions you may have?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this setting of the salary. Any discussion or questions?
I think it's important that we stress that we don't arrive at these numbers haphazardly or willy-nilly or in any manner that would suggest that we don't care about the impact on spending for the county. These recommendations come to us because of comparative analysis with like counties of like size, and we are behind the average, and I presume that it's normal practice that we take action in these cases.
That's correct.
Yes. And I am going to vote yes.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. G is a recommendation from the purchasing department and the county engineer to award a contract to M.E. Collins Contracting Company, Inc. in the amount of $202,461.14 for concrete box culverts for project number 15-8.
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, but we'll have Pam tell us a little bit about it.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. I'll apologize for being in my engineer clothes today because I've actually been out doing engineering this morning. But that being said, the box culverts before you are culverts that are in our standard plans. We do replace about 2 of them a year. This year, this particular contract is more than we had originally budgeted in our budget. That being said, we will adjust our budget in other places to make up for this because these are both important projects.
Okay. Very fine, thank you. It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, please call the roll.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 4H is a quitclaim deed from Lancaster County to the City of Waverly for part of Amberley Road and North 134th Street.
I would move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the quitclaim deed. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, I would just remind everyone that this is something that is just a formality that the City of Waverly has requested.
Okay.
And so,
I do appreciate that, thank you. Okay, please call the roll.
Avery,
yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. I is a mini grant contract application and award with Nebraska Office of Highway Safety to pay mileage and overtime in the amount of $9,232.75 for the click it or ticket mobilization.
Sheriff Wagner.
Terry Wagner, Lancaster County Sheriff. This is an annual event. We hold several annual events that in conjunction with the Nebraska Office of Highway Safety. Click It or Ticket is one of those in conjunction with Memorial Day weekend to increase seatbelt usage. The money that is in this grant will pay for overtime for deputies that are staffing a safety checkpoint at some place in the county, and then saturation patrols after that to increase seatbelt usage. So that's what this grant is for. In the fall, let's see, we have Click It and Ticket now. You drink, you drive, you lose around the Christmas holidays. And there's one other around Thanksgiving. I can't remember what it's entitled. But anyway, so we participate in about 3 of these saturation patrols and increased enforcement through grants with the Nebraska Office of Highway Safety annually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. I think we need a motion.
I would move to approve.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this mini grant contract application. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. J is a grant contract with the City of Lincoln Police Department in the amount of $50,836 to provide funding for the domestic violence advocate as part of the improved legal advocacy relating to protection orders and immigrants in Lancaster County project. Term of the contract is October 1st, 2014 to September 30th, 2017.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this grant contract with the City of Lincoln and the Police Department. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 4K is an agreement between Lancaster County and Siegel Rogers Casey for retirement plan consulting services. Siegel Rogers Casey will provide an annual investment and administrative review of the Lancaster County 401A and 457 retirement plans. The county will pay $28,500 for the services. Term of the contract is March 1st, 2015 to December 31st, 2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this agreement. Any discussion? Yes.
I'm wondering if there's anybody who can tell me if these are competitive bids to determine this cost.
Carrie, I think you work with this quite a bit.
So you must be talking about our agreement with Siegel Rogers Casey?
Yes.
It was competitively bid about 5 years ago when we were seeking a consultant. We'd hired Siegel before, used them a few times, then bid again, and they won the bid again. So it hasn't been competitively bid in the last few years, but we also have a firm that's extremely familiar with our plan and our investment structure. I think the other thing to note too, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't competitively bid things every once in a while, is that the $28,500 for these services comes from our expense account, which is paid by Prudential. It's them sharing their revenue and putting it into the expense account. So it's not taxpayer money that's used to pay for this. It's the revenue from the contracts we have for them to administer our pension and deferred compensation programs.
I would assume, though, that the 28.5 is not what we were paying them 5 years ago.
It's very close.
Is it?
We were paying $25,000, and we asked for a contract in that range. They just wanted the 28.5. That was their proposal. So I mean, we could play hardball with them, but that's not an unreasonable amount for a consulting contract of this magnitude. We get a lot of value of it. It's a second set of ears to make sure that we're fulfilling our fiduciary duties to have investments in our pension plan that are well monitored or meeting their benchmarks. Prudential does that for us, of course, too, and they have 2 reports a year. Siegel does this once a year, and it's in addition. There's also good cooperation and a good relationship between Siegel and Prudential. So we'd be happy to bid it if that's what the board wants. We are seeing a very productive, good relationship at this point with Siegel. So
I raised the issue not because I oppose it, but because I have no way of knowing if 28.5 is a reasonable number for this kind of service.
We believe it is based on what we've seen before and based on some of the other proposals that we had the last time we bid it. There were several other proposals from, I thought, less competent firms that wanted way more money than this. So we believe it's a pretty good deal. They originally asked for $50,000 on their contract, and we have Doug Sear on our side, and $25,000 was where we ended up. And it's been pretty much in that area ever since. And it's been a multiple-year relationship.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion in a second? Okay. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Avery,
Yes.
Hudgens,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Welchen,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. L is a contract between the City of Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the Stericycle for infectious waste pickup and disposal on an as-needed basis. The county will pay for products and services according to the line item pricing as listed in the contractor's proposal. Term of the agreement shall be 1 year from the date of execution by all parties.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this contract. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Hudgens,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 4M is a contract between the City of Lincoln, Lancaster County, and Safety Clean Systems, Inc. for the annual requirements of washer services, recycling solvent on an as-needed basis. The county shall pay for products and services according to the line item pricing as listed in the contractor's proposal. Term of the contract is 1 year from the date of execution by all parties.
Move approval.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we approve this contract. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Hudgens,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. and is a contract between Lancaster County and Schmader Electric Construction, Inc. for the maintenance and repair of emergency management sirens on an as-needed basis. The county will pay for products and services according to the line item pricing in the contractor's proposal. Term of the contract is 1 year from the date of execution by both parties, with the option for 3 additional one-year terms.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jim David, Saber Director, Lincoln, Lancaster County Emergency Management. Anytime there's a discussion of the outdoor warning sirens, I want to make sure I take advantage of that opportunity. We've got a network of about 100 sirens that really give us good coverage throughout the county to cover the populated areas full-time in the towns and cities, and also some of the state recreational areas. And as we go towards severe weather season, we want to make sure that our sirens are properly placed and the ones that we have out there are in proper working order. So that's what this service and maintenance contract essentially guarantees that. I understand Schmader has had the contract for several years and always provided a high level of service. I've been on the job now for a little over 8 months, and the contacts that I've had with Schmader and their service techs, they're certainly very receptive, and as I said, from what I've seen, provide a very high quality service.
Yes.
Well, and these are outdoor warning signals,
yes,
and
Yeah, and it's always a good opportunity to remind people of that. If they're indoors and they didn't hear them, they may call and complain. I'll certainly welcome taking those calls and explaining it, but as Deb said, that's just it. They are intended for people who are outside, outdoors, probably don't have other communication means readily at hand. And again, when you hear those sirens, that's the time when you need to seek shelter immediately. So again, making sure that they are all working properly, again, it's in everyone's best interests.
Okay. Any just questions? All right.
I would move approval of the contract.
Okay, it's been, do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this contract. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Shore,
yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 4O is a resolution in matter of county special permit number 15006, granting authority for the development of Coyote Ridge Community Unit Plan consisting of 9 dwelling units and a waiver of block length on blocks 2 and 3 on property generally located at Northwest 70th Street and West Rock Creek Road, Lancaster County, Nebraska.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this resolution in the matter of the county special permit. Any discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to vote no on this, and I want to explain why. I've given a lot of thought to this, and I have made at least one site visit to the area where this proposed development is located. What I see here are two competing claims. Obviously, that's the case in a lot of these issues. But you have the rights of the privately owned property, the right of the owner to develop the land. But you also have the right of others not to be harmed by the exercise of that right. I would like to point out that rights are never absolute. They must never be invoked at the expense of the rights of others. And I am convinced that in this case, we have unacceptable risk being posed to the rights of adjoining property owners to fair and reasonable access to adequate water on their existing residential properties. This is not an easy decision for me to make, but I do intend to vote no for the reason that I've just specified. Thank you, ma'am.
I will also make a statement here, too. I also am going to vote no on that, and the reason for that is that I, too, made an on-site visit, and as a Realtor, you know, I am concerned about the fact that we do have anecdotal evidence indicating, you know, that there is a perhaps a lack of necessary water to have all of these particular homes in that particular area with adequate water. On the other hand, I also do know that we have a waiver here on a block length, and you have 9 dwellings with a 2 bonuses, and that would add additional hardship perhaps on the level of the water. And so because of this, I would prefer that it be 7 dwellings and perhaps do a change on that block length. And so with some of this in mind, I am also going to vote no.
Madam Chair, and I also did a site inspection with Commissioner Avery as well as Engineer Dingman, and I appreciate the opportunity. We had a fairly extensive public hearing on this project. We heard from a number of professionals address some of the concerns regarding the groundwater issues. We had an expert in, I believe, the field of well drilling give his expert opinion, as well as staff from the Public Health Department, as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission or Committee. And I mean, based on all the information that I believe was presented, I believe that information does assuage my concerns about the groundwater issues. So I will be voting in favor of this project.
Yes.
Last Thursday, when we talked about this at length, I did make a motion to alter the number 9 lots. In my mind, I was thinking 6 or 7 and made a motion for 7, and it failed for lack of a second. So I am hearing you say that you would vote in support if the lot number was reduced?
To 7, and possibly with a redrawing of the block length on blocks 2 and 3. To change that.
I will request a friendly amendment to the motion maker to reduce it to 7.
That's an interesting concept. I guess the part that would bother me a little bit about this is maybe I do like the concept of keeping 70% of the area still in farmland.
Right, right.
And when you do a community unit plan, you would consolidate those acreages to where they would be in the area that I think we have seen. The topography there is most lends itself to walkout basements and to acreages, and the health department has said 3 to 3.5 acres is enough. By the same token, what incentive would we have to the landowner if we didn't give a bonus? And so I guess I would offer the question, would you at least give them 1 bonus so it would be 8? And that way they'd have something to pay for the driveways and additional expense that they go to in putting together a community unit plan.
My viewpoint was more just reducing the demand on the water needs.
I think that's
and I don't think that 8 is substantial. In my mind, I was originally thinking 6 because that would be a 33% reduction. But 70 still puts us at 25. 7 still puts us at about a 25% reduction. 2 less wells, 2 less septic
Households.
systems. 8 approximately 8 less car trips per day on the roads. Just looking for maybe still retaining that cluster concept, making the lots a little bit larger for more ability to locate a good well, more ability to handle a lagoon or a septic system. Again, I'm a city girl, so I'm not an expert in that. But that was my philosophy in just reducing the demand on the land and the need for water.
And that's actually what my thought is too.
Well, I can certainly understand that philosophy, but then you kind of negate the basis of a community unit plan. The community unit plan is to preserve that land, and by right they can build 7 lots there anywheres on the whole 138 acres.
So I
At
guess
least by
it's
going
gonna
with a community unit plan, you could bring it together. And I think there are some good things about a community unit plan. You reduce the number of driveways. You put it in the land where it needs to be.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to ask Sarah a question. If we could, with the approval of this agreement, reduce it to 7 lots and still require a community unit plan?
Well, a community unit plan isn't really a requirement, it's a request by the landowner.
Okay.
The community unit plan allows us to adjust some things, and one of the things that we can adjust is that 20-acre requirement. So rather than having to have 20 acres for a house, we can put it on the 3-acre lot. So a community unit plan is more of a tool to kind of redesign creatively that property. Now the bonus is discretionary, so it is a may and not a shall. And so it's the board's discretion whether they want to award that bonus or not.
Go ahead.
And does the commission, Board of Commissioners, have the right to determine what that bonus may be? It may be 1, but we are limited to 2 in this case. Is that correct?
I believe you can go up to 25%, a bonus of up to 25%. So you could do a lesser percentage.
Okay.
Back to my request for a friendly amendment at 7.
And again, I'd certainly accept it at 8.
Madam Chair, I have a question. This may be one for the legal counsel. If we were to amend this proposal, as we're now discussing, would that require that we open up the hearing again? Wouldn't we have to have another hearing since this is a substantial alteration in the original proposal?
Christy Bauer, Deputy County Attorney. I don't believe so. I would probably defer to planning a bit on that, but I don't believe so. One thing you will have to do is the resolution before you includes the language that it consists of 9 dwellings. So we would probably have to, the board would have to direct us to prepare a new resolution. From planning's perspective, I don't know if they need anything additional from us or from the board if you choose to change the dwelling units.
I don't think that we would need anything else. I mean, the staff report explains how the density was calculated at 7 units plus 2 bonus units for the 25%. Again, that's just a recommendation. The board can take or leave those 2 bonus units behind. So I don't think we'd have to do anything additional. If we were trying to go above and beyond, then I think we'd want to open it up. But
Well, I think that one of the things that I'm concerned about too is the fact that there is anecdotal evidence. You know, I know that there were quite a few well tests done and so forth and so on. One well test was done, and it was successful. But on the other hand, we have people who live in the same area who indicate that, you know, there are questions with water. And so I really think that even though we could approve the 9 and go to the bonus, the landowner does have the right to enjoy the use of the property, okay, as long as it does not impede the rights of others. Going to 7 is what is allowed, you know, and it would seem that that would have less of an impact upon the water use. The other thing that I did see on the other development that had been done to the south and to the west was that there was a drainage issue, there was a erosional / developing, and I think, you know, that one of the things that we need to be concerned about, because this is very much an erosional, subject to erosion, that I would like to see, and although I can't really say this, it would seem to me that perhaps there could be, how these houses are located, it might be possible to develop some terraces and so forth to prevent that erosion. Yes.
Well, I think any grading project has to have silt fences, and that's just something that they would have to do. The water issue, again, there's good testimony on both sides of that issue. However, I would remind the commission that the water, underground water in that area does flow from the northwest to the southeast. The majority of what kind of eased my mind a little bit about the water issue is the majority of the people that testified were to the north or to the west of this area. So as the groundwater flows through, they would have first usage of that groundwater. I think the evidence that we heard about the wells in that area is that 5 gallons is permissible. What has been drilled on there already was in the 25 to 30 gallon per minute usage area. Certainly we have approved other political subdivisions in the past that had much lower than the 25 to 30. And that's the reason I think that if you want to, you may have some really good concerns about the density, and that Rock Creek Road isn't the best road in the world. There's no question about that. And the topography, I think, by going down to 8 would be a compromise. It wouldn't be allowing them to have the 9 that they're requesting. It asks them to better utilize the space and find as good of positions for wells and septic systems that they have. But yet it would give the developer an incentive to do a community unit plan instead of just carve up 138 acres. By right, they have 7. They can place 7 there now. So what's the incentive to go to community unit plan? I guess that'd be my question.
Well, we do, yes.
Well, and I just want to add what Larry said. I think the last thing that, it's not the last thing, but the concern I have is if we go to that scattered 7 20-acre lots, that means there's 7 separate driveways on county roads that, based on testimony from Pam Dingman, you know, some of those roads were not constructed up to standards. And so I think it's for the interest that we're talking, you know, one of the issues that was brought up was public safety. I think clustering these houses into one area to allow for one access to a county road is more desirable than having at least 7 others. And not to mention the fact that, yeah, you're clustering it, you're essentially taking up a smaller footprint. You know, the benefit is that a majority of this quarter section remains in production agriculture, which I think is also very valuable and is again another benefit for this project.
Well, I think we do have a friendly amendment.
Which was
Change it
rejected.
to 7.
And you said
Not been
no.
accepted, though.
Yeah,
And
wasn't
you will not
accepted.
accept that?
No, but I would accept 1 to 8.
Can I ask the applicant your plans if we're looking at 7?
I think why don't you have them come up and
Yeah.
tell us what they want to do.
What's my plans, huh?
Yeah, you must have thought about
Right
it.
at this time, I'm thinking about just pulling the whole subject and putting an irrigation well in there and farming it myself. Because all the information that has been put out here, the wells that have been discussed, those are old wells. They have not, most of them have over 5. They have 15, I think, was the lowest, and 5 gallon per minute is all you need. And that has been discussed several times.
Right.
So, and like Larry Hutkins was saying, the water does flow in the opposite area. Most of the people that have been opposed don't even live in the area. They ain't even close. So, you know, I think you're taking a lot of information that's incorrect. You have professionals, you have documentation from the state and everything else. Why wouldn't I want to put an irrigation well in there with that kind of an aquifer? I'm asking myself. I can get 500 to 600 gallons per minute. I can farm that ground, make it very productive. I could probably make more money off of it. Why would I want to do it? So, you know, and I was trying to take a partial land that is not that great for farming. When they say it's erodible, that tells me that it'll perk very well. So we had some people say that it was erodible, and some people say it was full of clay. I'm like, who's listening here? This is actually, it should probably percolate real well. I don't think it needs a lagoon. So I'm saving the real nice silt bottom, black soil ground for good farm ground, and that was gonna take the top that is, you know, all terraced, the runoff, we terraced it years ago. There is no runoff. I'm not sure what everybody's listening to here. There's plenty of water. This aquifer is a huge aquifer. The only thing I can think of, their surrounding neighbors have old wells, nobody's listening to that need to be updated. The screens are plugged, or else they have a well driller that didn't know what they were doing. That has, all that testimony has been brought up. So I'm not sure what we're voting on here. I'm kind of disappointed. So I may, after you vote on it, I may just pull the plug on it and I may put an irrigation well in there and make more money. You know, I'm sorry to sound like that, but
No,
you know,
I
have
asked.
that right.
I asked for your thoughts. I understand. Larry,
Right now, I'm not sure which way I'm going.
Okay, Larry, I'll go with 8.
I think that I will accept that as a friendly amendment. Can you live with that, Mr. Benish?
I could live with that.
I think this serves the area the best because there's concerns of if you irrigate it, I think you're going to do, if you put an irrigation well in there, in my mind, I think we don't know for sure, but I think we run more of a risk of taking water away from those adjoining landowners than if we try to limit it and find something that'll work here. And I applaud you. You had the expense of getting an engineer and trying to do a layout so that we preserved as much farmland as possible. And I think in the interest of everybody, I think this would probably be a good solution. I know Commissioner Avery was concerned about if an irrigation well goes out there in the future, that will suck that away from there. Since you own the whole 138 acres, I think you're going to do everything possible to make sure that these 7, 8, or 9 landowners do have good wells and are able to have nice acreages, which will be a community, an asset to the community and the county.
Well, do we vote? Yes.
Isn't it true that you can put an irrigation well in the agricultural portion even if we approve this permit?
Yeah, but right now, the way it stands is that whole area has the better of the aquifer. The runoff that gets into that silt bottom is, it doesn't, you probably wouldn't make the money off the crops on that irrigation land because that's good silt bottom. It really doesn't need to be irrigated.
So why would you say that you might just abandon the project and
That's an
farm the
extra
whole
40.
ground and irrigate it?
That's 40 acres. And now I can irrigate the whole works, then it would probably pan out.
But you have silt, black soil
Good quality silt bottom.
on half the land, 1/4, 1/3?
About 3/4 of it. That's why I took the hilltop that was not as productive. It put out like 20 bushels per acre on the top there, 20 to 25, I think, on beans. It did last fall. And the bottom was like almost over 50 bushels per, and that was not irrigated. I'm well satisfied.
So it
with
wouldn't
that.
make any sense to irrigate it even if you don't go forward with this project.
Right. Irrigation
Yeah.
wells are expensive, and they're expensive to maintain. But it would for the rest of the 160.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, well, I think that the friendly amendment was accepted, and we would change this into 8. Any further discussion? Let's see, we have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Did you,
Oh, I'm sorry. I should ask the seconder.
I'll accept the friendly amendment.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Okay, so please call the roll.
We need a new resolution now?
Okay, we need a new resolution.
Direct the county
Okay.
attorney
To prepare the new resolution noting the 8 lots.
Okay.
That was the motion. Or that was the request of the friendly amendment.
Okay, that was a request of the friendly amendment.
We're not actually voting on the,
Not on this one then, so we have to, okay, fine. So, what do we do now?
Well,
You can get a motion to
right,
direct our office to
right,
prepare a
because,
resolution.
right, because.
Okay, so we need to have that as a motion.
and specify the number 8.
Yeah, okay, we need a motion for that then.
Okay, do we need to withdraw the motion that's on the floor then? Because Larry had made a motion
Okay,
to
let's
approve
withdraw
it
the
tonight.
motion.
I think that motion can stand. The amendment was to go, a friendly amendment was accepted by the seconder and the maker to go to 8. So I
Okay.
think we can go ahead and vote on that motion. But it's simply to direct the county attorney to prepare that resolution.
Okay.
So we'll be, in a future meeting, we'll have to vote again.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
My name is Don Olson. I'd sure like to have you guys reconsider your yes vote. We presented, there was a lot of neighbors that were here, and I don't know how many development areas you guys did before this, but we had a lot of people that were against this. Did you have that many people before when you did housing development areas in different parts of Nebraska?
Oh, yes.
You had
We-
more than what we
Even
had?
more.
Oh, even more. I
On the
would
backside
say-
of Pawnee Lake.
Right, I will say water has been the issue sometimes, but normally it's the number of cars that they are concerned about.
And,
So yes, we have had housing developments in the past that have been very controversial.
Okay. And also, when I, got to the state of Nebraska, and they said they're gonna redo the road of Highway 79, and they said the Army Corps of Engineers regulate how much water flow can come into that. And I gave a copy of that to every engineer. And there are specs there, how much water can come to to the creek. And so they were even concerned about the amount of water runoff that was gonna come into Oak Creek. Did anybody do any checking on this?
Yes.
Mr. Olson, that was discussed at the last public hearing, and the county engineer did remind us that it's the same amount of runoff, whether it be ag production or residential. So those concerns were addressed by the planning department.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you for your time and patience.
Okay, we need to vote on this resolution then?
Christie, is there a way we can get this done today? I, would feel bad for the homeowners that have come and expressed their concerns so many times to have it back on the agenda a fourth time.
The resolution before you is for 9 dwelling units.
Okay.
So
But we amended it to 8.
Can't we just amend it to 8? Can't we just pull the original approval, or pull the original motion, pull my friendly amendment, and make a new motion cleanly to approve the resolution altering the 9 to 8?
you're going to alter it by hand?
Yes.
What about this? What if we make a motion to approve it and direct us, you can approve it today, direct us to prepare a new resolution that shows up on next week's agenda. The public
comes
knows
up for-
what your vote is going to be. It's just a procedural matter of having a correct history of the board's action in the resolution.
Okay.
I think that
okay.
satisfies me.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
So we
trying
need
to
to
make
have
it
a-
easier.
So,
Just trying.
okay, I'm a little confused now, so we need to approve this one right now. This resolution
Amended.
amended, as amended.
And direct her to prepare a new resolution.
Okay. Do we understand that as, do we need to put that into a clear motion?
Should be.
We're all clear.
We're clear.
It should be.
Okay, so let me just restate this. What we're going to be voting on is that we approve this, this resolution with the change that it will be 8 dwellings, and direct you to make a resolution pertinent to that, that we will vote on next week. Okay, that's what we're voting on. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Avery,
No.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Amundson.
No.
Motion carries 3 yes, 2 no. Next is number 5, consent items. Receive and place on file the following county attorney quarterly report. This is for January through March 2015. Setting a public hearing on Tuesday, April 21st, 2015 at 10:30 a.m. in Room 112 of the County City Building regarding an amusement license application for Norris Public High School at 25211 South 68th Street in Firth to hold a car show.
Move approval of consent items?
Second.
And move the second that we approve the consent items. Please call the roll.
Hudgens?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Wilchin?
Yes.
Avery?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. This is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business on agenda may do so at this time.
And I guess I would like to take a point of privilege. We have several students here, is that correct? Okay, could you tell us who you are and where you're from and what you're doing here?
I'm Josh Poor. I'm from
Stand up.
Nebraska.
Stand up.
I started in ALEC 480, which is a public organizations class, public media, and kind of write up the summary of it.
Okay, well, we hope that this was interesting for you, yes? Mhm.
Hi, y'all. My name is Casey Campbell. I'm actually from New Mexico, but I'm a fourth-generation Husker.
Good.
And I'm also in that same ALEC class studying leadership in public organizations. It's actually a lot more interesting than I ever expected it to be, so thank you.
Oh.
Well, I thank you all.
It's on a normal day.
Okay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Snyder. I'm a reporting student for the College of Journalism and Mass Communications. And I'm just here to write up a little report on what's going on in the city of Lincoln.
Okay, well, we're very glad to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Madam Chair, I just want to
Yes.
make one comment that when I was an undergraduate here at university, I did take an AgLec class, and it was definitely one of the most beneficial classes that I've ever taken, and it has served me very well throughout my professional career. So I applaud you for taking that class.
And we have one additional student in the far back of the room, Kevin, who covers us for the Lincoln Journal-Star. His son is sitting in the
Oh, my
back in the
goodness.
press room today. So, Corey, that was a quick wave. He's involved in his video game, I can see. But it's fun to have a young person here as well.
Okay, great.
He is listening because he waved.
Oh, and Kevin just missed the introduction.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, and Mr. Aldridge. You have to excuse this levity.
Gary Aldridge, Lincoln, Nebraska. County Contract B 150015 and B 150016. Agenda items 31 March 2015. Quote, "We shouldn't be in this position." Avery, 31 March 2015. Perhaps to himself more than anyone else. Getting slapped in the face by "your hypocrisy hurts." Speaker and circumstances unknown. Most experience both at some time in life's journey. Here today, I offer public comments on items related to county business. My public comments are not offered as theoretical, philosophical, hypothetical, ministerial, or esoteric. 150015 and 150016 are separate contracts under a single umbrella, communications. The discussion, deliberation, and decision on these contracts took 55 minutes. Ain't democracy beautiful? Both contracts solicit bids, one for hardware, another to support and maintain the hardware. I have no quarrel with a legitimate need for on-time communication. A real and persuasive argument can be made for workplace efficiency. Efficient and legitimate is not best defined as an empty soup can connected by string. One vendor on the record, Schaefer Communication, was less than happy with the final board action. Disappointment happens. Disappointment sometimes is a cause of action. The county board or county engineer or county purchasing shop may have skated dangerously close to district court. In part, the unsuccessful vendor alleged that certain provisions or procedures of some creature called Whiska, sounds like cat food, were ignored. I know little about the language, construction, and/or meaning of contract law. I leave it to minds younger and more nimble to struggle in the tedious and tortuous swamp of contract law. The approved hardware contract was $69.5K. Schaefer Communication, who challenged the first wireless award, bid $82K. For an ordinary citizen, this $13K difference is not insignificant. The difference between $69.5K and $82K may be primarily or only a rebate that one bid passed through and one bid did not pass through to the end user, Lancaster County. Whether the high bid vendor should pass through a rebate is unimportant. Most expect for profit to be mercenary. Then things get interesting. Schaefer, the higher bid on hardware, submits the low bid on service, $7K v. $11K per year. Some money is symbolic, some money is real. Sometimes it's serious money, sometimes couch change, but it is always tax money. If First Wireless retains the service contract for 3 years, the $13K difference in the hardware contract is erased. Some on the board had difficulty swallowing the numbers. Perhaps for comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y, not comedy, C-O-M-E-D-Y, one vote came up to the line but did not cross to a no vote. Avery and I have no statutory relationship. I do not live in the district Avery represents. However, when Avery offers we should not be in this position, perhaps he speaks for all taxpayers. If First Wireless retains both contracts for 4 years, and that's not guaranteed, taxpayers lose money. A 4-year extrapolation: First Wireless, hardware, $69.5K. Service, $44K. $11K per year times 4. Total, $114K. Schaefer Communication, hardware, $82K. Service, $28K. $7K per year times 4. Total, $110K. $114K versus $110K. Final thought. 9 owners, read taxpayers, with residential property of average value will see every tax dollar they pay to Lancaster County consumed by this 4K. Those 9 do not sit in seats behind me here today, folks. But you know who they are. You can see them.
Well, thank you for your comments.
Yeah, I like these comments.
Very pertinent.
Announcements?
Any other comments? Okay, let's move on.
Next is announcements. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Tuesday, April 14th, 2015 at 11:30 a.m. or immediately following the regular County Board of Commissioners Board of Equalization meeting in the Bill Luxford studio of the County City Building. Commissioners will not hold a staff meeting on Thursday, April 16th, 2015 due to the board's attendance at the Southeast District NACO meeting at Mahoney State Park in Ashland. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold their next regular meeting on Tuesday, April 21st, 2015 at 10:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building with the Board of Equalization immediately following. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live and is rebroadcast on Tuesday and Saturday on 5 City TV, cable channel 5. In addition, the meeting may be viewed on the internet at lancaster.ne.gov under 5 City TV, video on demand, or 5 City TV on YouTube.
I would move adjournment.
Second?
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. Please call a roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Wilchin,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Hudkins,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
The Lancaster County Board meeting is adjourned. We will now go on to the Board of Equalization.
The Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of our material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk's staff. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Also in attendance this morning is Scott Gaines from the county assessor's office. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, April 7th, 2015.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions? Please call the roll.
Avery?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Wilchin?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2, additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls.
Move approval of the additions and deductions.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the additions and deductions. Are there any comments or discussion? Please call the roll.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Wilchin?
Yes.
Avery?
Abstention owing to a conflict of interest.
Amundson? Amundson?
Yes. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Motion carries 4 yes, 1 abstention. Number 3 is a public hearing, motor vehicle tax exemption applications for Goodwill Industries, serving Southeast Nebraska, Inc., Lincoln Baptist Church, Lincoln Foursquare Church, St. Monica's Home, and Vital Services, Inc.
Okay, we'll open this public hearing on motor vehicle tax exemption applications. Do we have anyone speaking in favor? Anyone in opposition? Neutral? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and
I would move adoption of the motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded that we approve these applications. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore?
Yes.
Yes.
Avery?
Yes.
Hudkins?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Motion 0. Next is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business not on agenda may do so at this time.
Is there anyone who would like to speak? Seeing none?
Adjournment.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. Please call the roll.
Wilchin?
Yes.
Avery? Yes. Hudkins? Shore?
Yes.
Amundson?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Now, next door.